folks, it's time yet again for another episode of Chicken Tuesday. All right, so today we're going to address yet another question that we've gotten from you. Thank you, by the way, for sending in all these questions. I do appreciate it a lot. Some of you have mentioned you're interested in finding out more about chickens because you too are thinking about getting some chickens of your own. I think that's terrific. If we can inspire you to do that, get yourself some chickens. You'll never regret it. They're beautiful animals. They provide great eggs, and they're just a lot of fun. I love all the cooing and all the clucking and all the chickening noises that they make. It's just kind of a calming effect. And just playing with chickens, watching them eat and all that. It's fun. You're going to enjoy it. All right, so one of those questions, and each week we're going to take a new question. I've mentioned that before. So one question a week, so pay attention, be subscribed, because your question may come up and you don't want to miss the answer to your question. But today's question happened early on. It was whether or not we were going to add to our flock of chickens. Well, let me make one thing pretty clear. It's not a flock of chickens. Now, I guess you could refer to it as a flock because that's birds in general are flocks. But when we're talking about hens, we're talking about a brood of hens. And the other one is peeps, believe it or not. So you have a peep of hens or a brood of hens. And if you're talking about the baby chicks is a clutch. And they're also referred to as a chattering. And the Old Farmer's Almanac, that's what they call them there, and that's why I use that as a standard for what I'm going to call them. So in this case, we'll call them a brood because that's what they do. They brood and they get together and the hens are together. Are we going to add to our brood? Well, yeah, if we had a need to. I think 4 chickens, because that's where we're at right now. We started with 8. And 2 of them ended up being roosters, and one of them came up lame, and one of them died accidentally. We don't know why. So we went from 8 down to 4. Make sure you check out the other episodes because we talk a little bit about all that on those other episodes. I'll put a link below so you can click on the playlist and just watch the playlist. Yeah, I think 4 is probably enough chickens for us as far as the amount of eggs they provide. 4 a day is pretty good, and that's enough for us and to give to others. And that's what we end up doing is we give up some of our eggs to some of our neighbors and some of our friends because it just could be too much, right? When we had 8, it was fun because we can give away more eggs. But I think our chicken coop, and last time we were together, we talked about the chicken coop. The most that chicken coop could hold was 6, according to the manufacturer. And I got to be honest with you, I think 6 chickens in there is a bit much. So 4 is probably right where this needs to be. Now, if we needed to add to the brood, that poses its own problems as well. Because when you take small chicks, and you would never take small chicks, little guys about this big, and put them with full-size chickens. You'd never do that unless the hen actually laid and hatched those eggs. That'd be a different story because that mother hen would be mother hen to those chicks and protect them. But just to introduce some chicks into a brood of hens would not be a good idea. They're very territorial, they're very protective, and they know where their source of food comes from, and they don't want anything else taking it away, especially little chicks. So they probably end up pecking them and killing them eventually. So what you would want to do, though, is take little chicks, you put them in I've got a container up here, I'll show you a close-up of what we use to put the little chicks in to get them grown up. You would probably take those little chicks, you'd get them to adolescent size, so they would be, in people years, if you will, they would probably be about, 6, 7, 8 years old, so they'd be a little older and they can kind of fend for themselves. And then you'd slowly introduce them, very slowly. And even doing that, the new brood, the little ones, the little clutch that's growing up, will have a tendency to stick together and they can kind of protect each other. And then the older brood would they will see them as invaders and not like that, but at least they have each other. And you would never introduce just one little chick to a whole brood of chickens. It just wouldn't work. They'd kill them. So You've got some growing up chicks that are sticking together and kind of defending themselves. You want to make sure they're old enough, and then you can introduce them, but you're always going to want to have separate space for them. I don't have separate space. This thing will only hold 6 chickens maximum. If I put another 3 in there, we'd have a problem. So I don't plan on doing that. But you can, and what we may end up doing is having 2 chicken houses, and that might work, and then we can blend that the brood of hens all together at some point, and they'd probably be okay. I know a lot of chicken owners that have done it, and they introduce them very slowly, and it seems to work well. We've done it, but the chicks were always a little bit older before we introduced them, and even after we introduced them, the separate clutches of chicks would tend to gather together and stick together. In this particular case that you're seeing here, the young rooster was beginning to crow before we even introduced it to the rest of the brood. But it's not recommended just to throw them right in there. It won't work. So are we going to? Not anytime soon. If for some, God forbid, any reason that we may lose a couple of more chickens, I'm not planning on that, then yes, we would probably try to introduce some more chicks. But at this point, we got 4 chickens. And, some of you have asked how long do the chickens lay eggs and all that. I'm going to answer those in future episodes, so make sure you're subscribed, okay? And, you've asked questions about what do we feed them and all of that. I'm going to put links down below so you can go out and get some chicken feed if you're interested in that. And where do you get chickens? Wow, that's going to be a question for you locally, and I'll answer those questions in the future. Until then, make sure you're subscribed, because we will get to your question. And today, just enjoy watching chickens. All right, we'll see you next time. Okay, folks, if you like Chicken Tuesday and you like to see the chickens and you like to learn more about chickens, leave a comment down below. It takes a lot of work to put these things together, but I enjoy doing them if I know you enjoy watching them. So let me know, okay? And I'll continue on with Chicken Tuesday. Share this video with friends of yours, please, as many as you possibly can. Let them know about Chicken Tuesday too, and have them comment on whether or not we should continue on with it, okay? Share it, do it on Facebook and Twitter, or anything else you can do that you can share would be of great appreciation. Don't forget to press that like button on this video, okay? Do that for me. All right, thank you.